How many times have I said it? No scrap collectors allowed to park here.
The security guard's leather shoe pressed down on the plastic bottle Grandpa had picked up and crushed it hard.
Is this a place for people like you? This is St. Eaton Prep Academy. Tramp like you. We'd have to disinfect the ground you stepped on.
18-year-old Rumi Winstead stood on the steps of the school gate, watching her 70-year-old grandfather being pushed to the ground by the security guard. The handcart piled high with cardboard and plastic bottles toppled over by the roadside, cans and bottles rolling everywhere. Grandpa's palm pressed against broken glass, blood seeping out, laughter came from behind. Rumi turned around. Blake, Jenna, and their group stood by the school building entrance, holding up their phones to film her. Blake, who had thrown her school bag into the trash the day before, laughed the loudest.
See, I told you she smells like garbage.
Jenna pinched her nose, her voice shrill.
Her grandpa collects trash. Oh my god. That watch on her wrist must be fake. $9.99 free shipping on Amazon.
Rumi's hands clenched, then relaxed. She did not look at them. Instead, she hurried down the steps.
Grandpa!
Grandpa looked up at her, the corners of his mouth actually twisting into a smile.
I'm fine, Rumi. Grandpa's fine.
Rumi.
The sound of high heels approached. Miss White walked over with the parent-teacher conference sign-in sheet. Seeing the elderly man on the ground, her face showed undisguised disgust.
This is your guardian?
Her voice was sharp.
Do you know what kind of meeting this is? College counseling. Why did you bring your grandfather here? What would he understand? Does he even speak English?
Several $20 bills from her wallet and tossed them on the ground.
Take this. Buy the old man some medicine. Don't come to the school again. Frankly speaking, you've been dragging down our class average. A family background like yours simply doesn't belong at St. Eaton Prep Academy.
The banknotes fluttered down, landing beside the bloodstain near Grandpa's hand. Rumi's eyes turned red.
Enough!
A deep voice came from behind the crowd. The crowd automatically parted. A black Rolls-Royce Phantom stopped in the middle of the road. The door opened, and a middle-aged man in a tailored suit stepped out. Mr. Anderson, the private secretary of the Winstead family. Holding a gold-embossed folder, he walked straight toward the old man on the ground. Then to everyone's shocked stares, he bent over and bowed 90 degrees.
Mr. Winstead, I have brought your seal. The acquisition documents require your final signature.
At that moment, Rumi suddenly understood. Grandpa had told her to endure for the past 3 days, not to let her suffer bullying, but to let her see clearly who the real enemies were, who the silent accomplices were, and who would stand by her in the end. And it all started 3 days ago. 3 days ago, 15-year-old Rumi transferred to the private high school, where 1 year's tuition was enough to support an ordinary family for 5 years. Among all kinds of luxury cars stood a beat-up pickup truck, piled high with waste cardboard and plastic bottles. Rumi jumped out of the truck. She adjusted her plain t-shirt and jeans. The only special thing was the watch on her wrist, a custom Patek Philippe made exclusively for the Winstead family, one of a kind in the world, but she did not know its value, only that it had been left by her mother. As soon as she walked into the campus, something unpleasant happened.
Hey, new girl!
Rumi turned around and saw 3 neatly dressed boys and girls in school uniforms. Leading them was Blake, the son of the largest local real estate developer.
Where's your car? I mean, you didn't walk here, did you?
Blake looked around exaggeratedly on purpose, drawing laughter. Rumi said calmly, "My grandpa brought me."
What car does your grandpa drive? Porsche? Ferrari?
Asked the blonde girl Jenna beside him, her eyes judgmental. Rumi was silent for a second. Pickup truck." The air froze for a moment, then louder laughter erupted.
A pickup truck. Ha 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 ha! My dad's gardener drives a pickup truck.
Blake laughed until he could barely stand.
Wait, you're not some nanny's daughter who snuck in to steal an education, are you?
Rumi unconsciously touched her watch. Jenna noticed sharply and grabbed her wrist.
Wow, this fake looks pretty convincing.
Jenna curled her lip.
My dad bought my mom a Patek Philippe for $200,000. Yours?
She let go as if touching something dirty.
$20 tops.
Rumi pulled her hand back and said nothing. That evening, Rumi walked past the mountain of cardboard boxes and plastic bottles surrounding the scrapyard and entered an electric gate hidden behind the piles. Behind the gate was another world, a 1,000-acre Winstead manor, fountains, lawns, a helipad, and a 5-story main building. She walked into the living room and threw her school bag on the sofa. Her 70-year-old grandfather was sitting at the coffee table, frowning at a pile of financial reports. He wore a washed-out old shirt, sleeves rolled up to his elbows, his usual look when experiencing life. Grandpa, old Charles did not look up.
How was your new school?
Rumi was silent for 3 seconds. He was fine. Old Charles looked up and glanced at her.
Rumi,
He set down his pen.
you've never been good at lying since you were little. Tell me.
Rumi bit her lip. After a long while, she spoke. They laughed at me.
Laughed at what?
Laughed at me for not understanding what they were saying. They speak French, Latin, slang only taught at fancy private schools. I have an A+ in French, but the kind they speak, with an accent, Parisian or Lion, I can't tell. Her voice grew softer. They asked where my watch was from. I said my mom left it to me. Then they laughed, said it was obviously fake, that Grandpa stole it while collecting trash. Old Charles was quiet for a moment.
Did you tell them who you are?
No. Rumi shook her head. You said judging people by wealth is the worst quality. We should give people a chance. Old Charles smiled with relief, but a trace of heartache flashed in his eyes.
Good girl. Give them one more day. Sometimes people need time to really know someone.
Rumi nodded, but she already had a feeling. Some people would never change, no matter how much time they were given. The next day, things got worse. During break, Rumi's locker was opened, her textbooks thrown all over the floor, written in marker, "Trash girl, get out." When she went to the bathroom, the door was locked from the outside. Cold water poured over her head. Blake and the others stood on a chair and accidentally spilled a bucket. In class that afternoon, Ms. White asked Rumi to answer a question. After Rumi answered fluently in both English and French, Ms. White said expressionlessly,
Sit down. Don't study too far ahead next time. Puts other students under pressure.
The implication was clear. You did not deserve to perform that well. After school, Rumi's school bag was gone. After searching, she found it thrown in the trash, covered with leftover lunch bags. As she carried her stained school bag out the gate, Blake and his group leaned against luxury cars, taking photos of her.
Film her. her. Film her. Trash girl with a trash bag. Post it on Instagram. Title it St. Paul's New Species.
Rumi's fingers dug into her palms, but she remembered Grandpa's words, took a deep breath, and walked toward the beat-up pickup truck. That night, when Rumi came home, she saw a black Rolls-Royce parked near the warehouse. She hid behind a wall and watched as men in tailored suits get out and enter the warehouse. Through a crack, she recognized him, Mr. Anderson, the Winstead family's private secretary. He was speaking gravely with Grandpa. Fragments of their conversation drifted over.
The school can't endure this any longer. The board.
Grandpa's voice was low.
Wait, I want her to learn to handle this on her own.
But sir, they've already...
Anderson.
Grandpa cut him off.
I trust Rumi. She will solve this in her own way.
After the secretary left, Rumi walked in as if she had just arrived. Grandpa acted normal, but Rumi noticed he was holding a document with the St. Paul's Academy crest on it. She did not ask, but felt a faint unease in her heart. But before today's parent-teacher conference, she had never imagined the school would treat a 70-year-old man like this. Rumi stood on the steps, watching Grandpa being pushed to the ground, watching blood seep from his palm, watching those mocking faces. Those faces were the same as the ones that had treated her badly 2 days before, but this time she did not just clench her fists. She hurried down the steps. Grandpa, at that moment, Cleaner dropped everything and rushed forward. Rumi helped Grandpa up with her. Head teacher Ms. White walked over and casually tossed several $20 bills in front of them, even feeling proud of what she had done.
Take this. Buy the old man some medicine. Don't come to the school again. A family background like yours simply doesn't deserve to study at St. Eaton Prep Academy.
A large crowd of onlookers gathered at the gate, including Headmaster Thompson. Seeing the old man on the ground, his face twisted with disgust.
Miss Rumi,
he said loudly, making sure everyone nearby heard.
On behalf of the board, I am officially notifying you your behavior has seriously violated school rules. Please proceed with withdrawal procedure.
Rumi stood up. On what grounds? I didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything?
Headmaster Thompson sneered.
Your very existence is a stain on St. Eaton Prep Academy. 100-year reputation. We are a school for cultivating elites, not a charity. Your family situation can't possibly afford the tuition here. You probably don't even have 5 figures in savings, do you?
Snickers rose from the crowd. Just then,
Enough!
The black Rolls-Royce pulled up by the roadside. Mr. Anderson stepped out, followed by a legal team and reporters from 3 major media outlets. He walked up to old Charles and bowed deeply.
Mr. Winstead, I have brought your seal. The acquisition documents require your final signature.
Dead silence fell over the entire scene. Headmaster Thompson's smile froze on his face.
Winstead?
Anderson turned around, his voice clear and icy.
Allow me to formally introduce Mr. Charles Winstead, founder of the Winstead Group, ranked 7th on the Forbes billionaires list with a personal net worth of $23 billion US. He is also...
He looked at Rumi, his tone softening.
The grandfather of Miss Rumi Winstead, the sole heir to the Winstead family.
Blake's phone dropped to the ground. Jenna turned pale. Ms. White stepped back subconsciously, stepping on the money she had thrown. Old Charles stepped forward, ignoring the shocked stares, and looked at Rumi tenderly.
Child.
His voice was soft, but the entire crowd was listening intently.
Did you see?
Rumi nodded.
I asked you to endure for 2 days, not to let you suffer bullying, but to let you see clearly who your real friends are, who the hypocritical onlookers are, who the cruel bullies are, and who the silent accomplices are.
Charles pulled a folder from his suit jacket.
Now, tell me, if the Winstead Group faced a crisis, how would you handle it?
Rumi took a deep breath and took the folder. She opened it and quickly flipped through it. Inside was all evidence of Headmaster Thompson's crimes. She looked up at Headmaster Thompson. The man who had been arrogant moments ago was now pale, sweat beading on his forehead. Headmaster Thompson. Rumi's voice was clear and carried across the grounds. You just said my family probably doesn't even have 5 figures in savings. You're right, my family doesn't have 5 figures in savings because it's 11 figures. Before Headmaster Thompson could react, she opened the folder. 3 years ago, the school foundation received a $5 million construction grant that ended up in a shell company. The legal representatives of that company are your wife and your younger brother. Headmaster Thompson opened his mouth to speak, but Rumi had already turned to the second page. 2 years ago, the parents of student Jackson donated $200,000 to you. Soon after, Jackson's GPA rose from 2.1 to 3.8, and he was accepted into Stanford. That money never entered the school account. Third page. Last year, you raised $8 million from parents for school building repairs. In reality, repairs only cost $1 million. The remaining $7 million went into your bank account in the Cayman Islands. Fourth page, fifth page, sixth page. With every page she turned, Headmaster Thompson turned paler. The crowd stirred. Parents exchanged looks. Some began recording. Furthermore, Rumi closed the folder and looked straight into Headmaster Thompson's eye. 3 years ago, a female student reported you for sexual harassment. You drove her out of the school by accusing her of defamation. You even threatened to ruin her reputation in the entire education industry. Do you remember that? Headmaster Thompson finally found his voice.
Lies! This is slander! What would a child like you know?
Headmaster Thompson's face turned from white to red, then from red to purple.
You.
He pointed at old Charles.
You did this on purpose. You let her get bullied on purpose to set me up.
Old Charles said calmly,
I told my granddaughter to endure 2 days, teach her a lesson about human nature. As for you, have you been committing evil for years? Only because I showed up today?
Headmaster Thompson turned to run, but sirens were already wailing in the distance. Rumi pulled her phone out of her pocket. The screen showed 911 connected. While she had been speaking, one hand had been in her pocket the entire time. Headmaster Thompson, she said, you just told me to withdraw from school. Now, on behalf of the Winstead family, I am officially notifying you. She looked at the police, pouring pouring into the campus and spoke slowly word by word. You are under arrest. 1 year later, 16-year-old Rumi stood on the stage wearing a student council president badge. Below her were the entire school's students and teachers, along with a large group of media. Headmaster Thompson was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Ms. White had her teaching license revoked. The school board was completely reorganized. As the largest shareholder, Rumi implemented a series of reforms. 1 year ago today, Rumi began, and the entire hall fell silent. I was the student being expelled. Some people lowered their heads. That day, hundreds of people watched. Some laughed, some took photos, some remained silent. Only one person, she paused. A cleaning lady quietly walked over to my grandfather and tried to help him up. In the audience, the cleaning lady in the corner froze. Her name is Maria. She has worked at this school for 20 years. Her monthly salary is less than what some students spend on one meal, but that day, the only person who stood up was her. Rumi stepped off the stage, walked through the crowd, and stood in front of Maria. Ms. Maria, thank you. The hall was quiet for a few seconds, then applause erupted. Rumi returned to the stage. My grandpa taught me something. Never judge a person's worth by their clothes, job, or income, because true worth is shown by who is still willing to stand beside you when you are at your lowest. She looked into the distance toward where the scrapyard used to be. No, it was now a non-profit organization called Home of Dignity, dedicated to helping bullied students. This past year, I have met many children who were bullied. Rich, poor, white, black, Asian, straight A students, athlete. There are 1,000 reasons to bully someone, but the feeling of being bullied is the same. She took a deep breath. So I want to say one thing to everyone who is being bullied right now. Don't be afraid. Fighting back doesn't always mean hitting back. It means making yourself strong enough, so strong that they can never reach you again. Then reach out and pull up the people behind you. Amid applause, Rumi stepped off the stage. At the door, old Charles stood there with Anderson and a group of children wearing Home of Dignity t-shirts.
Well spoken.
Old Charles said, Grandpa taught me. Rumi smiled. Sunlight shone on the watch on her wrist. The Patek Philippe, once mocked as fake, glinted with tiny fragments of light. She looked down at the small words engraved inside the dial. True wealth is how many people you carry in your heart.